All right. I appreciate you being here. My name is John Williams of What Was That Radio, and you're about to witness, should you choose to, a conversation, a catch-up with a dear friend of mine, Max, who is the lead singer and the main brains behind Boy Leadfoot, a band from here in Victoria on Vancouver Island. If you were to go to their website or any which way on social media that has a bio involved and attached to it, you would see he's chosen to quote a poem by Albert Camus, a French philosopher, and his 1942 story, The Myth of Sisyphus, the king in Greek mythology who was punished to eternity in rolling a boulder up a hill and over again. Right? Get that rock to the top of the mountain. Lovely. I've got another one for you. Granted, you can flesh out the full thing if you go to it, right? You'll find all the relevant links to Max and Boy Leadfoot in the video description below if you're on YouTube. And thank you so much again for being here. There's no edits, no cuts. It's just an organic conversation, warts and all. I hope you find some enjoyment in it. Yes. You've got your bubbly, I've got my tea, right?
I got my tea and my bubbly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I got beverages.
Oh, I'm tangled. A nice casual start to this conversation because we can do what we want.
We can do whatever we want.
This tea's a bit cold because we spent so long getting ready. That's fine. It's not an issue. That was all on me.
I tried to time my tea. And usually I go for like a lemon ginger this time of night, but I knew I was going to be talking to you, so I went with an Earl Grey.
Nice. Decaf?
No. I'm prepared to accept the consequences of a little caffeine.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not on caffeine anymore. It's just that in the last, I drink a lot of tea, and when I was working in corporate radio, it'd be maybe 1 or 2 cups an hour of the 4-hour show, so 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah.
But then since doing this, I've been drinking about 20 to 30 cups a day because I'm working 14, 15 hours. And so it was just crash. So my partner said, I've bought you this. I went, what's that? She went, a decaf. Try and sleep tonight.
And his decaf has a little bit of caffeine too, which is kind of nice, doesn't it?
Oh, flip.
I mean, there's uncaffeinated, which is just naturally caffeinated. And then decaf, they take the caffeine out, but there's still remnants of a bit of caffeine, to my knowledge, anyway.
Right. So it's probably another 2021 label that says may contain milk or something, you know.
Yeah. Or
it's a joke for the vegans. Sorry.
My favorite is natural flavors. When something says it has natural flavors.
Yeah.
And you would think they mean like flavors that are from a natural thing, but they are just flavors that taste like natural things. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the sort
Hold
of
up,
word
wait.
play
So what
that
you're saying, I for years, legit, this is not how I thought we'd start our conversation, but let's roll with it. I for years thought that natural ingredients meant like someone has used a shovel to gather something from the ground, Animal Crossing style, if you're aware of that game, Nintendo game. And here we are, we have a cherry. You're now saying that someone has manipulated science to create a cherry and they're claiming it's a cherry? Hang on, run me through this.
Okay, so I like bubbles.
The answer is in a bubbly.
The answer's right on the bubbly can.
Are they your sponsor or something? Why is this the first thing that you bring out?
No.
No, tell me about it.
I'm not sponsored by Bubbles. But if they're looking for somebody to sponsor, I would definitely take it. This is a brand new flavor. I haven't even tried it yet.
Oh.
But right on it says natural flavors. Yeah, natural flavor. Just hold it. You can't read it, but believe me, it says it. But what that means, apparently, this is what I've heard, is they're flavors that taste natural. They're not actual extracted natural flavors. They're flavors that seem natural. You know?
Yeah. I'll just ask, can you Google that? Can you Google that? Let us know at the end of the interview. Yeah?
I'm pretty sure.
There's no one there. I just wanted to feel important, as if I had a... Can you Google that? later John in the future? Future John. Can you
I love
Google?
that.
I'll write a note to
I've always,
myself.
or like, what's that, Alexa? Or, yeah, or that's like Joe Rogan has his Jamie. Goes, "Hey, Jamie, Google that or something.
Oh, right. No,
I always,
yeah.
yeah, I always thought Joe Rogan should create an Alexa called Jamie, so people could yell, "Hey,
What?
Jamie!"
Put some of that Spotify money to use. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah. What
Max.
a
Well,
guy.
I think we've warmed up. We've got our delightfully intriguing jokes and energy set here. And it's been an awful long time since we've hung out. So, I mean, the first thing is, how are you? It's been
Yeah, man.
an absolutely bonkers year. Where are you? How are you? And you can share what you wish to share. You know that. I care a lot
Yeah,
about you. So what's up?
yeah. I care about you too, man. It's really good to be here with you. Yeah, it has been a weird kind of one, hasn't it? Just when you think you've seen some stuff, you get a brand new thing like that come along. Um, but I thought life was pretty strange before as well. So it's like just kind of rolling with it. Um, with music and everything, it's changed quite a bit, but everything's changed. Everything's changed, and I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna go back to the way it was ever, but that's what we do. We adapt, right? Oh, but yeah, I'm just here. I'm working, doing some building and building songs, and I've just been camping, and I don't know, just trying to do the things I can do and control, and yeah, trying to make some songs, man. Trying to make some songs because you can do that pretty much anywhere these days. Yeah,
So when
yeah,
you say building, Max, do you mean you're working construction and then you're
yeah,
making music when you've got the free time?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I work in carpentry with it's just me and my buddy. We operate a company to well, he operates it. I'm his like sidekick, and yeah, we just build like anything really. So that's really cool. I like to use my hands to do things.
Are you still on
Build.
the island?
Yeah, I'm in Fernwood in Victoria.
Oh, okay. It's just round the
Um,
right.
I could probably yell at the window and hear you if you're.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not going to
Fernwood's
yell
pretty
back
tiny.
because I'm in the heart of downtown, not far away, and there's a lot of people that yell. It will start some chain of events, but
Yeah,
we'll
it
we'll
is.
leave them to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
side note,
Well,
selfish side note here is: have you ever come across those like cupboard doors with those strange hinges that you have to like click in? Because
okay,
my top ones come loose, so I screwed it back in, and they're like that strange. You'd think it has to. If you just click it here, it releases it, and you think you could just put it over
okay.
the top and push it on, or you could slide it in, and neither will work. I don't know. I have no
Is it like
idea.
a hook? Like a hook thing? Is it like a
Wish
like
I could
a?
just rip the door off and
Is
bring it over. It's
it,
it's just it's what it's those strange. I don't know how you describe. I'm taking my brain's shutting down trying to describe something really
that's
simple, but
tricky. Yeah,
because there's so many different kinds of hinges. That's the problem, and it's just
yeah.
one that's like, it can extend out, which I think to slide it in initially, and then it goes back in. So it's just like cupboard opens, cupboard
Yeah,
opens.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
got
yeah,
one
yeah,
little
yeah.
release clip that when you release it, it like pops and then comes off. So you'd
It
think that
actually
you'd
pops the
slide it
whole
in.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know how the
Yeah,
fudge to get it back, man.
those are awesome. I can help you with that, man. Cabinets. I love cabinets.
Yeah.
I'll help you with the cabinet anytime,
All,
man.
all I know what to do is talk a lot and listen to music and dissect it. You give me a hammer, I destroy everything. My partner, who
that's
has
that's
amazingly
fun.
repainted my
Yeah.
apartment to spruce it up, and I was taking the tape off, and I'm the guy that goes in and takes half the fucking paint off the wall just to take off the flipping. Oh my gosh, man!
That's so good. But I bet you won't do it again
What?
once you
Yeah,
do
you're
something.
right. I won't do anything DIY. I'll just keep talking and listening to music. I'll be on a construction site in charge of the radio, you know. So then the people that got to say I don't like you could say to my face like, "Get off my radio, dude.
Right.
Get off my
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
site."
Yeah. Dude, turn it up. Okay, I'll turn it down. Yeah.
Or I'd just play Peter Gabriel the whole 9 hours you're on shift. Sledgehammer, boom, boom. Just loop that. Anyway,
That's a dope song. I love that
one
song.
of the best artists
Oh,
ever. One of the most creative guys ever. Yeah.
yeah, Peter Gabriel. Two great names too, like two great first names in succession. I've always liked people with two first names.
But you have that.
I have three. Yeah, Maxwell Michael Gordon. That's my full
Yeah.
title. Yeah, so I've always had an affinity
I love
for
Gordon.
several first names.
I was
Gordon's
raised on Thomas
great.
the Tank Engine. My dad called me Percy a lot.
Percy.
Yeah.
I forget that guy. What color was he?
He was a little green one, wasn't he?
The green one. Definitely. Yeah, that
Because then
sounds right.
Gordon was the long blue one.
Yeah,
He's always getting his race on. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. They're like trains with just normal human names, like
Yeah.
just common English names.
I always
So if I was
wondered
a train,
if that's what train watchers did. You know, they wrote down like, you know, Maxwell was through today.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, if I was a train, I'd want to be called something like Thunder or something. Like I'm a train, man. Like I'm an engine on a track. I mean, I can go forward and back. What you gonna call me Thomas? I don't know.
Because it was a show for kids. I mean, no, actually,
Yeah,
no. If it
okay.
wasn't, no, actually, that's not fair because I've been watching this show with Harley, my partner's son, who just turned 7. What's it called? With dragons in it. It's from the same people that did How to Train a Dragon. What is
It's
it?
like a spin-off.
The Rescue Riders.
Mm,
And they've got characters called like Burple because he's a dragon that can like he has several stomachs and he can swallow rocks and then he burps them out. Burple, bap 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 bap. That's like his
Whoa,
power. And
that's so good.
so
I would
then
have thought he would like burp purple flame. So it's Burple.
yeah, you see, he can't do flames, but he can digest houses and then deconstruct them and spit them out into several if he wants
And
to.
rebuild them?
I haven't seen that in the episode, but I imagine that he could be able to. I mean, he just sort of. This is why you need to be involved in writing kids shows. You're asking
They
questions that
gotta
I
go
guarantee.
somewhere with it eventually, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna run out of ideas, and I bet he's gonna rebuild the house down the line somewhere.
Season 15.
Season 15, yeah.
I'd like to
Those are
apologize
great.
for the slight delay that means that I keep talking over you. So I'm gonna take a time out here, and you're gonna describe the process that you went through for this new song. Tell us about it. We'll listen to a little bit of it in a minute. But
Cool.
you were saying earlier that you're in construction mode. You can do music anywhere, but that's always been the way you've approached it. Everything that I've known you to make has been made by yourself in your room or in your shed or in your space. So just run us through what your mindset was going into this new creation and what the message was that you wanted to get out for yourself and then for us to digest afterward.
Cool, man. Yeah. So yeah, this one was cool for me because I don't know. I kind of took a break from doing much of anything. I was just I was outside a lot and working a lot. But my first EP, the Turnbuckle EP, I recorded on a MacBook in my bedroom, microphone on the lampshade kind of thing, trying to keep it down. That's why it's a really quiet kind of vocally my singing's a lot more toned back for that EP. Because I have neighbors that, you know, I can't be shouting like I do in some other, say, a live performance or whatever, or just walking down the road. I like to shout a lot. But yeah, so that first EP, I did that all kind of on my own, and then I went and recorded the drums over in Vancouver at Rain City Recorders. Um, and that was cool. That was a cool kind of breakout. I got you know, got that band of the month situation here locally in Victoria. I know you know. And then the second thing was actually with the band that I was playing with, um, Ian, Ben, Wayne. We all did that together. So we all recorded that up in Nanaimo at Wayne's in his home studio. And you know, they played their instruments and I played mine and sang, and that was cool. It was cool. I didn't I didn't have total control or um the input like I did for the first one, which is, I don't know, like, does that sound total control? You know what I mean though? Like, it's kind of cool to be able to have things just the way you want them. But collaborating, it's not gonna be like that um so much. So I think I think I'm answering your question eventually in a long form kind of way. For this single, Cellin, I wrote this when I was like 20 or something like that. That's probably like, yeah, it was almost 10 years ago. Um, and I got to record it again. I went up to Silverside Studios in Cobble Hill, and it was just me and my buddy Lucas, who owns the spot, and he engineered for me, and we just had a really good workflow. We did it in 2 days, and yeah, it's cool, man. It's, you know, explaining a song is always one thing, or the process, but you know, you hear it and it's different. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question,
You
but
did, no, and you know that I love
mm,
every little detail, and you take as long as you like. There's no time on this. It's a conversation. It's a
okay,
catch
cool.
up. It's not a rigid, structured situation. And there's a lot
Yeah,
to unpack from that response because, so you're saying that the drums you did in Vancouver, or you did the whole song with Lucas here on the island?
so I did that whole song here on the island with
Okay, right.
Lucas.
So
Yeah.
now let's
So
step back a bit. Let's step back. So I want to
yeah,
dive into some of the things that you said and just pick away at more detail. So you're saying that for a second, firstly, Dylan, who I used to work with at the Zone at 91.3, that's how I discovered you when you applied for Band of the Month with Boy Leadfoot a few years ago. And I was like, how do I not
yeah.
know about this dude? Because this is really flipping cool.
That's
And
cool.
so I'm really thankful that you ended up in this part of the world and you got in touch with Dylan and he at that time brought you in
Yeah.
because otherwise, I don't know, I wouldn't have run into you on a construction site. Let's put it that way. So then if we're talking about your second EP and you were sort of concerned a little bit when you were talking about the lack of control. I mean, this is your art. There's nothing wrong in having ownership of your art. And this is where
Mm,
there's a delicate balance I found from being in a band.
yeah.
No, I've been in some bands a long time ago, ska bands when I played trumpet, and I
Yeah.
absolutely had no control in those as a 15-year-old. It was just like,
Yeah.
just play da, 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 and get out. And my parents didn't like that because I was like the 15-year-old with a bunch of 20-year-olds that were all stoned all the time. And so they'd rock up in
Sure.
our driveway to pick me up, and they'd open a door and it'd be like, goof, 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 goof. Like, just smoke would wade out of this bloody thing. And I said, you
Classic.
wanted me to play the trumpet, and I'm having a great time. And I wouldn't do anything with them. It was delightfully awkward. No, sorry, no. My parents will know. My parents will know. I'm just here to
Right.
play. And then being
Good,
in a
good
band,
boy.
you know, in my late 20s and recording with Malcolm, a friend of ours, that is a whole different experience. So
Yeah.
I haven't really had any experience with consistent recording and being in a position with a producer who's like, well, I trust me. But there's a delicate balance between that connection that you make in trusting them. Did you feel that you
Yeah.
made it? And this is no ill ward, this is no energy toward those that you work with, but did you feel that maybe there were
No.
moments where you didn't want to and you felt, okay, just let it slide, you know, I'll go here, he'll go there? Or did you feel that it was a complete, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought was going to happen at all?
No, that's a great question, man. And your band, we played a show together in Nanaimo.
That was one hell
Uh,
of a night.
it was a great night, man.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
great
man.
show. And I love that band. And
So do I.
it hurts that you guys aren't still going, but you know, life goes life goes on.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like you said, collaborating with people, um, just giving up a little bit of that control for the sake of of collaborating and coming together to make something unique that you couldn't do, if you did it by yourself. You can want control and do it all yourself, but then you miss things that other people bring to the table. So I'm super appreciative. I mean, those were the boys I was playing with regularly. We'd play shows together and we hang out all the time. Um,
So
so
you're
we kind
referring
of,
to, I'm interrupting, but you're referring to, just to clarify, the band collab. I picked up a vibe of maybe you were talking about the producer.
oh yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I was more talking about, yeah, the band collaboration,
Okay.
because that's the second EP we did, and it's got all of our faces on the cover. We're all cats. My friend Elise drew us all as cats, so we went ahead with that, and it was cool. We just basically recorded the songs like we played them live, kind of made a little rock album, which is fun. But I, I feel like I have, man, I have hundreds of songs that I now am realizing I need to focus if I want to get them out, and realizing that you can't be. Are we swearing on here?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can do what you
okay?
want, man. Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, I was gonna drop a bomb, and then I was like, I don't know if I can say that. But yeah, realizing that you shouldn't be, drinking all the time and just, celebrating all the time. You need to sort of work to have something to celebrate instead of, I get distracted by girls and booze and other things, and to be able to sit down and focus and actually, see a see a goal and see it through. Um, Especially with, the lack of community that we all kind of find ourselves, lack of physical community, I should say, right now. I mean, we're all very digitally connected, which I don't know if we could have a pandemic 10 years ago, because we didn't have this tight of communication. I don't know what that would have looked like. Um, and I don't have to know. But yeah, collaborating with people for me is great, but I always feel like there's a sacrifice when it comes to music, because I've spent a lot of time learning how to play these instruments, and I really enjoy doing that. And I feel like, yeah, I have something that I need to get off my chest a little bit. And when it's not just the way I want it, well, it's not the way I want it exactly. But with Lucas for this single, man, we're on the same page, and it's really cool to just go into the studio and just hammer it out. Like it was a good bonding thing with us, because we've always been kind of friends here and there. But I wasn't even looking to record anything, but I was like, man, we need to hang out. Maybe we should just record a song and figure that out, and we can hang out at the same time. So that was kind of the vibe for that session. Yeah.
Well, that comes
Ah,
across. That comes across. We'll dive into it
ah,
by listening to some, because
yeah.
two things. I can hear the fun. I can hear the release in this. That's
Mm,
why,
mm,
as I said to you before this chat started and we were figuring out how this us within a TV would
right.
work and getting our angles right, and absolutely
Yeah.
not trying to match outfits. But when we were discussing that before, I said I was playing it to my partner Jodie, and I was like just waiting like a giddy
Yeah.
kid for her to hear this line in a song that I love that leads into the chorus, and just like, come on, open the present. What did you think? What did you think? And I'm
Oh,
not letting it like process, but that's, you can feel the energy in it, and I love the
cool.
contrast between Max chilling, here we are conversing, and then Max on stage or in the studio. You are still the same person, but you find this elevation that is so intriguing. And so
Mm.
what I'm going to ask before we listen to a bit of the song is, why was Selling? Why did you feel that you had to go back 10 years? Of all the songs you say you've got, why did it have to be this one now? And further, Did you edit much of the lyrics, or did you find it is literally what you wrote 10 years ago?
Amazing. Yeah, great question. Man, I recorded that song on my first computer back in the day. I recorded about 10 songs and I was just about happy with them all. And then one hot summer day came and my computer was getting to the end of its lifespan
Uh,
and it literally crashed and I lost all of it. I lost all of it, man. So that was that was really heartbreaking for me. But um but after that I bought a van, threw my drum kit in the back, a couple guitars, and I drove down to the States and went and played a bunch of open mics and lived in Portland for a few years
huh.
and just went and explored because I was like, wow, fuck that, man. Like you put all this time into this and what would it, you don't have anything to show for it. But maybe you do. Maybe you should go find out and go explore a little bit. So I went down to the States and I learned a lot about music. There's, I'm sure you've been down and seen some incredible music scenes down there. Uh, and So coming back to that song, Cellin, that was, I mean, the first line I kind of took a bit from Hamlet by Shakespeare. It's living in a cell, calling life a disgrace. I'm bound in a shell, the king of infinite space, you know. And I could see no better time for a line like that, like, we're all locked up, you know, we're all kind of told to be locked up, and yet we have the whole world at our in our hands, in our
Mm.
paws, And back then, it was just about me, graduating high school and trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to do. What are the steps to becoming a man, or what is what is your role here, kind of thing. So there's a lot of angst in the song, which I still feel, but it's been translated into a new time and situation. But I feel like it fit perfectly for what we're all doing right now. So that's kind of why I thought, yeah, let's pull that one back out and see if it still translates. And I think it does, man. I think it's more than ever. It's like I've been sitting on it for 2020 to happen in 2021. I mean, the last bit of the song was an added bit to kind of break down into
Yeah, we'll dissect that. Yeah, lay the
yeah,
foundation for that because that is very
yeah,
interesting. That's different for you.
yeah, yeah, it's a little different. And that was just about us recording it. I was like, it needs a little something else. And I'd had these lines kind of going through my head for years, which were just because they rhymed and I thought they sounded cool. But it's yeah, stimulation, simulation. Say I'm all right, but it's getting the best of me. Um, and then information inflation got me to a point where I can't breathe, and that's a lot of what life is. Um, the way we live today, I think in a lot of ways, stimulations with all of this stimulation around us, but not actually around us. And we're, activating these mechanisms in our heads, in our bodies, um, artificially. And it's really cool. It's really interesting, but I just think it's so new for all of us that we don't even know what we have yet. And I think we need to kind of take a step back sometimes and realize that like we just run with things, man. Humans are wild like that. We learn so quickly, but then we forget so quickly too. It's
Yeah,
it's a vicious relationship with knowledge, I think. And yeah, and information inflation kind of speaks for itself too. Um, there's so many different sides of so many different stories that you get to a point where it's like, okay, what's real, what's the truth here, and you think you know, but you don't know till you know. I don't even know if Mars really exists. I've never been there, so I believe it does, but you know what I mean.
No,
Like,
no, yeah, no facetious response to that at all. Like it's
yeah,
a lot of the time, it's like my dad told me growing up, and we were in a small town, and he said, "Look, a lot of the time you're going to come across the guy that's got the loudest voice or has the most security in themselves, and
mm,
a lot of the time it boils down to the presentation of a point. And if
totally.
you buy into that energy, then there's nothing wrong. I mean, that's what is so difficult. I mean, we don't want to get into politics, but whether you're a soccer coach, whether you're a politician, people look for that energy to be guided, because a lot of the time people just want to go about their own thing and have bigger decisions made.
Absolutely.
That's thrown a vast net, but it's a fascinating point that you dive into, man. There's so many things. Right, before,
Yeah.
let me go through and address what you've. So number one, you never thought
Ooh,
about
yeah.
going into English literature at university if you're going to start a song about how do I grow out of this high school situation with a flipping Shakespeare quote?
Yeah. I've always loved literature. And that was my favorite class in high school for sure. I went to radio school. I think I told you that in the
Yeah.
past, which was awesome. And I got to put words to use with that. I really enjoyed writing copy and ads and stuff like that. But English literature, no, I've never thought to study it. I think it would maybe, I don't know if it would ruin it, but I think it would just kind of put blinders on 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 the stories. You know what I mean? Like it would kind of
Maybe remove the
study it.
art of your own interpretation and vision.
Maybe, and I don't know what would have happened if I had, but just just thinking back on it, I think it would, you know, I think it take once you see sausage made, you know, or something
Okay.
like that. I forget
First
where
thing
I
you
saw
jump to
that.
is bloody sausages. When I was back in England several years ago, my mum gave me my great great grandmother's Shakespeare books from the early 1900s. I'll have to show you. I've not even
Ooh,
dared to I've just tried to keep them as pristine as possible, because some have had the covers ripped or this and that. But
yeah, yeah, you
we have
don't want
these
to mess with
massive
them.
books now, and way back when they would be that, and you'd open it and go cross-eyed, trying to wow, they
Yeah,
really crammed a lot of words on this page. Is this a
totally.
grocery list? What is this? When you were
And then there's
down in
even smaller. Yeah,
my
yeah,
brain's far enough, I don't want to miss anything that you went through. But I've spent some time in. I went down with Pup, the punk rock band that I met opening for Colorado many years ago here in Victoria on
oh,
Vancouver Island, and I'd said
yeah,
to them, I've always dreamt of going to KEXP Studios in Seattle for those incredible
yeah.
live sessions. And then we got to talking, stayed in touch over social media, and then lo and behold, a few months later, Steve and Stefan messaged me and said, "Do you want to just be our roadie? Do you want to be our roadie?
Yeah.
We're going to go and play a
Yeah.
KXP session." So I met them in Van, went down. No, 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 no. No, that was another show a year later. I met them down in Seattle and got a taxi to meet their van as they were pulling in. And then I said to the taxi, pull up on the other side of the van. I got to jump out, grab my overnight bag, and pretend I'm part of the fucking crew. And so it's like, get out of here. Like, go, 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 go. It's like, oh, yeah, this
Yeah.
is our sound tech. And I'm like, yeah, picking up bags, you know. Just,
Just picking stuff up.
and that was incredible. And so I spent the night there, and I forget the venue now. They play with the Menzingers, wonderful, wonderful souls, and also Lemuria, wonderful, wonderful souls as well. And then the only
Maria.
other time
Yeah.
that I've been to LA, all Lemuria punk band from Philadelphia. The only time that I've been, and the Menzingers, do you know the Menzingers?
I don't know the Menzingers. I
Really,
like
really
that
cool
name
band.
though.
How would you,
Menzingers.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna.
Menzingers, yeah. Just, Papa Punk. Menzingers have that punk edge, but more of they're just a really cool rock band, man. It's just a really cool rock band.
Cool.
I don't like,
Trust
I
your
don't
taste.
like
Yeah.
putting boxes because they've evolved so much over the last 10 years. Yeah. Let's not get to the
Yeah.
Macarena. That will distract me. So the only other place I've been is to go to my best friend Brandon's down in LA when he lived there a few years ago. And I went to the Hollywood Bowl to watch at the drive-in when they had that
Ugh,
quick get back together. And so I would love
cool.
to get out to the East
Hollywood.
Coast. I'd love to spend more time in Portland. I'd love to get to San
Mm.
Francisco, man. So Anyway, but back to you. And then what else did you
man.
touch on there? I'm just going through like a checklist in my mind, and now I'm thinking of my Shakespeare book joke. But now, actually, that's the thing. I interrupted you again. Sorry, because I think you're like a second or two, or were you just making excitable noises?
I think I was just getting a little excited.
Okay, good. I feel so rude. Like this is more about you than it is me, even though it's a conversation. So I wanted to make sure that I'm not interrupting. Now, when I was saying to you, there's some different things in here, I was referring to what must be maybe the bridge in the song. So I mean, it's only 2 minutes and 32 seconds long. Let's just play it. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine, man. Yeah.
And YouTube, you just try and tell me that I haven't got copyright permission for this one, baby.
You do it, YouTube, and I will disagree.
Okay. Is this on CD Baby or anything yet? Is this registered?
This I've used DistroKid for the distributor, and it's due out March 5th.
Okay.
But no leaks or anything like that yet.
So you've got an ISRC code for this, so that you will get royalties when it gets spun, which I will be doing.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And if anybody watching wants to email me, I'll send them a link ahead of time. How about that?
Oh, sweet. That's very kind. Yeah. We'll put
I
all that below.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's check out. I mean, we're going to be here. I'm not going to cut to some music video that you've not shot yet. So we're just going to, let's do one of those reactions.
Shoot it, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm editing it right now. It's pretty tripped out, man.
No, you wouldn't be making a trippy video. Would you go to a field and pick mushrooms? What's in this video?
The cemetery, actually, yeah.
Let's listen to the song and talk about the video afterwards.
Bubbles.
What I actually did then was hit stop on the recording. So now we're back, and we're going to listen to it.
Living in a cell, calling life a disgrace. I'm bound in a shell, but I'm king of infinite space. Funny like me, we got time to kill. Don't you know life today's like taking a pill? Find a mate, find a friend, find a way to escape. Cut the smack, scratch the hate, it's no good in the end. Rip the map, hold your place, going from face to face. I'm scared now, someone get me out of this place. Say, boom, crack a slam, get me out of this jam. Don't wanna struggle, fight, don't wanna work or plan. I wanna slack, look back and wonder why. All the time I had, I should've gave it a try.
I love these. You little Britney Spears, you.
Just building up now, I gotta decide. Gotta make a decision, I'd rather run and hide. Cause it's silence, you can't really cuts like a knife. What you gotta go for the rest of your life. Sit down now, I don't wanna hear what you're saying. Only time that we want it, all that time that you're paying. The life that you're giving only gets you so far. Know yourself, get it done, get to know what you are. Say boom, crack a slam, get me out of this jam. Don't wanna struggle, fight, don't wanna work or play. I wanna slack, look back and wonder why. All the time I had, I should've gave it a try.
Jesus, don't drink the candle.
I thought it was my bubbles.
Oh my gosh, man.
Alright, but it's getting the best of me. Information, inflation got me to a point where I can't breathe. Stimulation, say I'm alright, but it's getting the best of me. Information, inflation, I don't know what to believe. Stimulation, say I'm alright, but it's getting the best of me. Information, inflation, I don't know what to believe. Stimulation, say I'm alright, it's getting the best of me. Information,
I love that, yeah.
Four flipping time signature changes in the last 30 bars, man. That ending is so, I mean, it reeks of Max, because I've heard all your other songs, and that's a great thing. I love, the biggest thing that struck me the first listen through was the intensity of the production of the vocals, but yet not necessarily the intensity of you and your delivery.
Yeah.
The overlapping, right? Particularly in this bit here.
cause it's silence,
Did you do that line by line so that you could produce that? They're minute. Some people might think that you've got incredible breath control. To me, these are multiple single takes that have been so perfectly placed you wouldn't even know. Intentional, surely.
Yes, so it's all, and that's a lot of my man. That's a lot of Lucas McKinnon. He's like, let's do a little over here to the left, let's do a little to the right, let's do a full take, and then let's do one line at a time, and then layer it all so it kind of gets a stereo image going. And that was I love that suggestion, man. He really nailed that with the imaging on that song, man. I haven't heard it in a little while. That's really cool. And I haven't really when you hear something so many times too, you kind of lose a little perspective.
Yeah, absolutely understand that.
Yeah, it was, and it's cool to hear your perspective too, man.
Well, it's just you're a very laid back. I think everyone can tell that by this point in our conversation. You're a very laid back, non-posturing human being, and at the same time, you've pushed yourself in the several years that I've known you to learn as much as you can about music, from this instrument to that instrument to the other. This is all you. And what I like about that is that where my mind goes as someone else that drums into what I might have done at the end of the song is not at all what you did. But what you did that caught me off guard was I was going to go simple. Let's do 16 bars of, we're flirting with, we're going to build, and then 16 bars hard out with the last 4 speeding up maybe an extra step. Whereas what you did was you laid it back, then you laid it back, then you interjected with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, right? And then you laid it back, and then you chilled it. And I would never have gone in that direction. I mean, because we're all unique individuals, but how do you feel? Because this is, for me, one of the most complete pieces that you've shown me. So how do you feel of your evolution as a musician in going from all these different instruments and then across 2 different days? How do you feel about this? It's all led up to this point, right? Maybe this is why the song wasn't put, maybe this is why the computer crashed 10 years ago, so that 10 years later you could dive back in as a more experienced soul to produce it. Has that crossed your mind?
I've thought a lot about that. Yeah, absolutely. And I, looking back at some of the songs that I do still have from back then that I happen to upload, they sound super rough, and they weren't well recorded at all. I think I had a Rock Band USB mic taped to a shower rod.
Yeah.
Like that you'd hear. Yeah. So that was basically my setup, and like maybe a Zoom recorder, and GarageBand or something like that. And it was just drum loops and stuff like that. So it's really cool to be able to take something from the past and kind of prop it up on the knowledge and the experience, that we all gain over time, and to be able to come at it with a bit more of a focused mind, with a little more experience, having played some shows and trying to figure out, the recipe that's going into the cake that I want to be one day. And so, yeah, it's definitely, I think it's just, you don't pick the fruit until it's ripe. And that song felt ripe right now. It felt real ripe. And I hope it comes across, I think it's a cool little bit of attitude that kind of paints a bit of a commonality between us all right now. So
I think it's the coolest song you've ever released, in my opinion.
I appreciate that, man. I'm only trying to get better, and I'm not trying to get better. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to be better. I think everybody is trying to be better.
It's baby
in
steps.
Every regard.
Yeah. You can't outdo the day before. You can't match it, but you can just try and stay as you are. You don't, and I say this because I've spent years going insane about trying to be the best I can be as quickly as possible.
Right.
Even with what was that, this radio station, and learning all these
Right.
new things as I keep talking in every interview. But it's true. Like, I don't know how to build websites. I'm learning. I don't know how to build apps. I'm learning. I don't know how to run all these extra pieces that I wasn't able to do before for various reasons. I'm learning. And knowing the energy that I put into it and where I know this can go, it's been a massive ego and grounding check to be like, yo, you can't run yet. You got to walk one step at a time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But I love,
that. That's
sorry,
it. We sort of have this thing, us humans, where we compare ourselves to other people.
Oh man, I do it every fucking day, man. Yeah. It's so, at the end of the day, that is the last thing, anyone watching this, when you get to the end of the day and you know you're tired and it's really, really hard, you've got to train yourself to turn off the computer, put the phone down and stop comparing. Because I have wasted hours, and then my lovely partner who's been there to listen to me talk and verbal diarrhea through it and go, this person's doing this podcast and this person's doing this and this person's doing that. It doesn't matter. Everyone can create their own community. But when I'm tired and I know I've got so much more that I want to do, that's when you're right. That's the challenge. Like they say, because I came from the gym earlier, that press up when you're feeling the burn, that's the one. That's the one where you've got, I don't know, I'm not a flipping Arnold Schwarzenegger workout.
Totally. I know what you're saying, though, man. It's exactly it. Because, yes, we do compare ourselves to other people. It's just a natural kind of thing. But when you realize, and like you said about the song, as in its state in the past, I can only compare what I'm doing now to that. And that's the only thing that actually makes sense to compare, I think.
Yeah, it's yourself, your journey. Because the other thing is, going back into that great point you had 20 minutes ago when you were discussing the lyrics of this song and technology and talking about the pandemic and what would we do if we didn't have this connection. That's exactly why so many of us are constantly in our own subconscious comparing it and bringing ourselves down and comparing to other people, because the world's media, the world's internet, technology, it wants us to seek thy neighbor and go, oh, really? Or, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now, there's not all negative, but depending on your mindset and your energy levels in that moment, you might be like, as I've done time and time again, shit, I'm not good enough. Yeah. You got to keep in your own lane. Yeah, it's everywhere you look, man.
Yeah, and we're not used to it yet. I think.
Will we ever
50
be?
years from now, even. Well, maybe even 50 years from now, we'll have, a whole new religion that involves all this technology that we all kind of, maybe not a religion, but, a sort of understanding, a mutual understanding where we understand that we all have these, weaknesses, and we're all prone to these things, these comparisons in this technology, and we're vulnerable to the effects of technology. But how long ago did everybody even get Facebook? It's what, 10 years ago?
I think it's 15 or 16, actually.
I guess me personally,
I mean, I shut mine down several months ago, and that's it, done.
Yeah,
it just breathes and breeds rather combative nature.
It feels weird.
It's completely turned conversation and communication on its head. People feel that a like is a check-in. It's not.
Right. Disposable, man. Yeah,
it's a whole other conversation. Yeah, I just felt like in making a massive career change and diverting my life energy somewhere else. It's not that I have anything against anything that I've been through, because it all helped me, like we're talking about, develop to this point. But it was a case of the energy here is putrid, and those that want to be in touch will be in touch. You shut down Facebook. I shut down Facebook. We text. And people, and this is the thing. Did you find that people questioned your mental health and thought you were nuts?
Every day.
Are you okay, John? You don't have to leave. I was like, I'm fine. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm even happy for making this decision. Everyone took it offensively.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't want to be in our Kool-Aid, man.
It kind of felt like that. People were unnerved and messaging me and emailing me saying are you okay? Are you stable? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm out.
Which is cool, though. And those are the keepers that actually reached out.
Here's my phone number.
You know what? Lucas, the guy that I recorded this song with, he called me a few months into that, I think, and he was just, checking in to say hey, and I was so happy to hear from him. He's one of the few people that, had my number first of all, and called. Obviously there's your close friends, but then there's some acquaintances that then become, that you have more in common with, that can become close friends. But just to have that effect, and realize, like, you don't need that, and so why would I have it if I don't need it? Why have anything if you don't need it? I mean, indulgence is my least favorite word, I'd say. I've thought about that a lot lately, and we have so many things that are just so easy, but there's a few things that are hard, that are worth doing, that are getting left by the wayside in a lot of situations in my life personally, that I've just really kind of had to take a look at, and think about what is important to me, what makes me feel alive. Nobody knows what I'm capable of, and if I want them to know, it's up to me. That's on me to show.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure people were perfectly fine with the way I was before, but I wasn't. And when I say before, I mean, being on Facebook, and caring about that world, and likes and all that shit. It's just, it just feels like I was watching porn or something when I look back on it, in a weird way. It just feels kind of wrong. And I mean, that's just me. Like, things work for different people in different ways. The way I am, I lay it on thick, and I like to talk about real shit, and it just didn't feel real anymore. So
yeah, a lot of pandering, a lot of I was going to say, and I had to rephrase it in my mind, I like things to be hard. I've said it now, but it's true. It's totally. Like, I felt that I was coasting in my previous career, and I felt like there were chances for me to grow. That how many times have you got to prove yourself? And it's such a delicate egoic battle, because I just wanted to be thrown in the deep end, and that's what I'm in. I'm looking at a website for subscribers, a portal of 3,000 bands that are uniquely elevated within the site, that I'm still only 300 into, because it's step by step, one band at a time, sourcing all the links. I mean, you're one of those creators. So if you come into Boy Leadfoot, okay, all right, where's every link that you can get the music from that gives you money? And why have I picked you? Why have you got a home on the What Was That playlist? Just as a one-stop shop for subscribers to dive into. But that's going to take me still another 2 or 3 months to make. I'm 5 months into the station, because you've got to level out all the other parts of what you're doing. And
what you're doing is building trust. It's like any art. You're building trust with your fans, your community. You're building a community where people can rely on you to come and know what was that, and they want to hear that, because they trust you, and trust isn't something you can give,
No, man,
not my original thing. You got to earn that shit, right?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you should, I don't know if you've got Discord or you considered it, but our community there, last night I'm lying down listening to my partner's show, who curates an hour of music every Wednesday night, called What Was Jody, which is What Was Yoti. It's like a Dutch spelling is how it looks on the website. It's
you guys collaborated? Like,
she's been doing
the name.
Oh, well, she's been doing her own, like, she picks the music, and it's just a really chilled out vibe. It's a stunning, gentle hour. Like, I start Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. with What Was Heavy, so it's all punk and metal for an hour, and then at 10 a.m. I start, and then in the evening at 9, it's that contrast of we started heavy, and let's chill and ground. Yeah. To speak to your point, the biggest challenge for me these last few months has been the ego, and multiple thousands and thousands of wonderful people were really excited about what I was building. And, the easy thing to do, and this is not, I'm not annoyed at anyone. It was a challenge for myself and my own journey. But the easy thing to do on Facebook is to hit that like, comment and say, yeah, what they all said, or yeah, I'll do this now. and then there's no follow through, because that is what we've been trained or self-trained from corresponding with Facebook, that's acceptable. So I've thrown my support behind them, and when the actual thing comes, I don't know, I might have forgotten about it. I don't want to speak for loads of people. So what I've got is a community of the 10,000 people that commented or liked something across all social media. We've got our Discord community of just approaching 300. And I was crying last night, to come back to my point, because context is key. When we were doing Jodie's show, and we, for each different show, there's some other guest hosts that have their own music hours, and then they have their own channel within the Discord. So we can dive into what was the OT at that hour, and then we're all talking about the show. And people are talking about their living situations, their mental health, and the way that the community is supporting each other. And I had announced yesterday because when you support What Was That, it's 50-50 split. And I'd announced yesterday, okay, $1,000 for my earnings so far are going to the First Nations Music Council. And then $2,000 are going into the What Was That Music Foundation, where we'll have people apply. You haven't got to like and follow the page to be entered. You've just got to email me to be considered. It'll be spread across social media. For those that have Facebook, they can do it there, and that's wonderful. But I'll be on Instagram and Twitter, etc., the ones I have. There's no steps you've got to take other than sending an email, and then we'll decide, right, of that $2,000, we'll see how many people get involved in it. We'll buy them their first instrument. We'll set them up with, I've got a team of What Was That music teachers that will announce in a few weeks whether you want to learn piano or guitar or vocal or learn to songwrite, and then we'll team you up with that professional that I've got to know over my 10 years in this country that have become friends. And then it's putting money in the pockets of those people as music teachers. It's giving experiences to the community. And if they're new to the community, they'll see exactly what the power of it is. Transparency, honesty, passion, simple. And so what I've learned of the layers and layers of ego that has been shed is, oh my gosh, I'm not on the radio anymore. And what that means is, for 80%, shit you not, 80% of the connections I've made the last 15 years, gone.
I know.
Because you're not that guy on the radio. And that's where my saying has become lately, perception is fascinating. Because the perception was that I was a big deal before, and I always said, I've got a cool job and I'm really fucking passionate about it. Community and the performers is everything. That's why I would get annoyed if DJs didn't backsell a song, no matter how many times. Oh, everyone knows Nirvana. Not everyone knows Nirvana. You'd be surprised. The one time someone turns on. I'm an old school guy. So that was a big, holy crap. And of course, the first few times my counselor or my partner or close friends say, your ego's getting a kick in right now. You're giving yourself a kick in. And I didn't realize until 2 or 3 months where I was like, yeah, this is like a whole new shedding of skin to take what I've learned to be comfortable with me again, because there was that energy. I didn't realize it was 50-50 that I felt, oh, without having that, I am nothing. I have failed. That's ridiculous, but it takes time to go through it. And the last thing I'll say to address to that before I lose it.
The chrysalis, man.
Yeah. Is that, oh my gosh, what was it? Yeah, it's still a battle that I'm going through, because I know what I'm producing and I want to get it there. But I also have a 3, 5, 10-year plan. And what I'm trying to run towards is in year 3. I'm doing 3. So, yeah, life's fascinating. And I think I'll let you speak and address what I've said. And I think what my bookend to sum up my little share there will reappear, because I've completely forgotten it. So I won't waste time trying to imagine what it was. I'll let it come back naturally.
You're just talking about community. You're talking about setting your goals and being your own critic.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's my last point, is the Facebook thing, to interrupt.
Oh yeah.
Is that in getting rid of that, it removes, Zoom's telling me, yeah, we got time. It's like, you're not a pro member, you might run out of time. Yeah. We'll see when you cut me. I've done loads of these. We'll see. Is that with that Facebook
without being a pro.
Sure, yeah. Lucky pro, we'll call it. But with that Facebook thing, that, my gosh, the amount I could breathe far easier afterwards. And people, this is what blew my mind, is that people would not text and would not email. You're like, yo, I'm leaving this. If you want to stay in touch, you can text or email. And of the just short of 5,000 personal friends and a unique 5,000 on the page, 30 people text.
Wow.
30 that were willing to take that next step because everyone thinks Facebook is it. And people would message me and say, you'll be back next year. No, when I've made a decision, my friend, there's no more corporate radio for me. There's no more Facebook for me. I don't fold and go back. I learn and I grow, move forward. So there is no return. That's not like, so, but then it makes you feel like you're egoic and be like, I'll never come back. No, it's not about that.
You have to be, man.
It's just clarity. Release that. Back to you.
But that's it. That's it, man. But ego, ego gets a bad rap, but it's just about, how you use it. It's not necessarily a bad thing to know what you want and how to get it and what you need to do to get there. And maybe other people don't do it, but, if everybody was doing it, then it wouldn't be such a significant thing, I don't think, And so, and you getting out of corporate radio, like, I think that's probably a lot of the same reasons why after radio school, I was like, I really want to just be a salesman for Jim Pattison, I want to get out and, I mean, I'm not saying that's all it is, but it just felt like I was more of a gear in somebody else's machine rather than building my own robot. So, yeah, if you have the vision, man, nobody else is going to build that shit for you, right?
Exactly. And the only time we will fail as unique individuals is when we decide to give up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay to give up and to change angle. And other times, I plan to do this later on in my career, but if I didn't do what I'm doing now, I'd look back and I'd regret it tenfold. Even now, several months later after leaving and being out of that bubble and hearing different things and being like, oof, I'm glad, because it's the biggest thing that I still am processing is abandonment issues and leaving behind people that don't have the internet. And so I've tried to reach out to people that said, look, I haven't got internet, and I've tried to buy them a basic plan and they won't have it. And so, but then they're devastated that they can't hear that English guy on the radio anymore. And that still haunts me a bit, where people, if they've been gone for a few weeks, they come back like, oh my God, the whole thing's changed. But I mean, that's what radio is in this country. There's very seldom the fortune that the Q and the Zone had, where you have people there that have been there for 35 years, 20 years, 15 years. That is an extremely special situation until the cuts. That's an extremely special situation. And so I am so thankful for the growth with people that I worked with there for the last 10 years. It's a massive part of my life, man. Let's bring it back to your song, though, because I could talk about me a lot, and this is about you.
Well, I'd listen all day about you, John. I like you very much.
Thanks, man.
Always have.
This bridge.
Walking across the bridge.
Now, it's so faint, and I love how it walks side to side. And now there's been a joke here in this household where we watched this strange video on YouTube several weeks ago about how you do like the water drop.
Oh yeah,
and
I can't do it.
Well, most people do this, but this guy we saw, he was like, you don't need to do it. You just got to go like hoink, hoink, like you pretend as if you're saying oink, and you kind of whistle, but you don't, and you can do it. And I spent ages trying to do it. And so whenever I try, I'm like, whick, 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 whick. My partner does it great. And Jody breaks, just flops around laughing when I try and do it. And I was excited for her to hear this part of the song, because very subtly, you're like, hoink, hoink, hoink.
No way. Totally. Oh, that's true. I was trying to, that's so funny. I was trying to harmonize my breathing.
Yeah.
Which is something you don't usually, I've
Tanya's
never
a
really
cat
tried
style,
to do
man.
that before. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to harmonize the breaths with the key that the song was in, and I guess that's what and then build it into
Where did that idea come from, though? To be like, oh, I'm just gonna go, did you then break out into the I'm a Slave for you can't deny
I
it.
was,
No?
I was, you know, Toxic's one of my favorite songs to this day. No, but it is a great song, man. Um, with the breathing, I don't know, breathing's such an important part of life. You could almost say that it's uh, absolutely essential to life. But I'm not
Yes,
going
you
to
could.
say it. But yeah, or like Bubbles, like in Trailer Park Boys, he does this, and I've always liked doing that kind of, I don't know, just playing with your breath a bit and like, you know, singing and stuff and learning your own voice and your breath, just playing with it. It's just as expressive as anything else. I think you can really get some, you know, it just kind of suited the song and what it was kind of what the song was trying to say. You know, I just pictured a bit of a panic or something, some angst, some like
Yeah.
just running out of breath, you know, or running away or some shit, you know, just just that energy of being out of breath mentally, kind of thing, you know. Yeah.
Did you have
Yeah.
that in the original version 10 years ago?
No, no, not at all. No, that whole last part of the song was not there. I would love to play. I'll send you the first version when we're done here. I'll send you the old demo because it's just nothing like it. You know, in the first one, the song starts and I'm like, it's like body beats and like beatboxing, and then it goes into like there's a vibra slap in there. It's all hip hoppy, kind of weird, but yeah, I'm excited. I want you to hear that.
Okay. I just
Just
think the
wait it.
breaths is a masterstroke. And it's
Cool.
so brilliantly
That's cool.
produced by Lucas that, and he's
Yeah.
playing with the stereo field all the time in this song. All the time you are
Yeah.
dancing around, 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 around. And
Yeah.
I just think it's so clever because for me, yeah, I clicked into the lyrics of like, oh, people are noun, adjective, breathe, breathe, breathe. And I just thought it was
Yeah.
so clever to have that underlying. I mean, let's go, let's just for
Yeah. Right.
Stimulation.
you just like a power walker on the street. You just went
Right.
from
Oh, I
right
did
to
the whistle.
left.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I can picture it. That would be a good video, actually. Power walk.
I
Stressed
power
out
walked.
power walker.
I power walk. My mum
Everywhere.
as a kid. Well, she had we had like the main grocery store at the bottom of Tetbury Hill, which was like a, you know, sort of couple thousand meters down, and it was just boom. And she would
Yeah.
power walk up, 3 kids, shopping, pushing,
Get it.
let's go. And so I've always just wanted to walk everywhere as fast as possible, which in Canada and particularly
Yeah.
on the West Coast, people are like, oh, gee, this guy's running, eh? Just running by me. You got somewhere to be real soon, have you, eh? And I'm just gone. Like, I actually love walking around downtown pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I guess that's the right way. I would challenge myself.
Now
Like,
you
I'd always
run.
text someone and say, I'll see you at Lucky Bar in 10 minutes. And they'd go, you can't walk from where you live into. I'll be there in 9
There's
minutes.
no way.
And I would just power it. And then whenever I heard a comment of someone saying, oh, gee, I would kick in turbo, like Buzz Lightyear Nitro with the wings that actually work and just, okay, I'll put an extra half a mile an hour on that. Let's go. And now I know from going to the gym that I walk at 6 miles per hour.
Jeez, yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Which I'm sure there's people out there that do more. But to me, I was like, wow, that's 6 miles an hour and 85%. My heart rate's working at 85%. And
It's important. It's a walk with purpose. That's what my mom always told me.
yeah,
You know, walk with purpose. You know, walk like you're trying to get somewhere. Don't just walk for the sake of walking. Like, I mean, unless you have no place to go and you're just out for a walk. But if you're trying to get somewhere,
I
let's
can't
get
do
there,
that.
you know?
That makes me anxious now just trying to walk slow. I
Yeah.
have to really
It
be like,
doesn't feel
John,
right.
chill out, calm down. You know, not everyone can flip in.
Saunter.
Yeah.
But dude, you ever see somebody like just like walking slowly down the sidewalk or something? You're just like, oh, whoa. I don't know. You have a weird appreciation
Yeah,
for
I wish I could.
somebody just kind of taking their time. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I
Where are you going?
need, I
Where's
don't
that guy
know,
going?
like straps that just mean that you would put like
Dude,
those exercise bands that mean that you have
some
to walk
weights.
slow.
Yeah.
I went
Or
to
just
school with
very
a kid
tight
that had weighted
clothing.
ankle socks.
Oh shit. That's pretty cool.
That's how he said he
I
built
have
his
some ankle
muscles for
weights.
rugby by like putting like 5 kilograms and then up to 10 kilograms strapped around his ankles.
Jeez, man.
Yeah,
Well, and you just walk around
all day,
like all day.
all
I
day.
thought about doing that. Yeah. And then you take them off and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, he can't
You
wear
like
them on the
fly
rugby
out.
field because then there'd be a weapon. But like that
Yeah.
kid, whenever it was like soccer football practice, I might say, I would if I was put in goal, I'm out. When he came in, because his right foot was a bullet because he wore weights the whole time. So the football to him was
Yeah.
like kicking air.
Right.
He's like,
Right. Right. Right.
Jeez, okay, we need another GK. You know,
Dude, I want to start doing that. This has been a good time for trying new things, and maybe that's one of them. Just throw some weight, get like a weighted vest or something like that. But
okay, you can upgrade to a weighted vest if you want. Yeah,
I might do it, man. I'll let you know if
yeah.
I invest in a weighted vest. Yeah,
I had to catch up with you
yeah.
then too. Yeah, invest in a
It
weighted
works.
vest
It
sounds like
works.
a future lyric. Stimulation, weighted vest in a weighted vest. I don't know. Invest in a vented vest.
Dude,
Jesus.
yeah, I'll start a vest company and we can use that as the jingle.
Put
Yeah.
it on. You could be the soundtrack for it, like stimulation. Invest in a weighted vest. I don't know. Weightless. That doesn't make sense.
Dude, I would buy one if I heard that song. Just even if I didn't need one, you just good jingle. Okay, I'll buy
Yeah.
one of those. Take my money,
Boom. Weighted vest. Yeah. I don't know.
dude. How's it going with the sober life as well for you?
Yeah, I guess I haven't drank in nearly 2.5 years,
Fuck yeah,
which is bonkers.
good. Feels good. I bet.
It feels great. It saves a lot of money,
Yeah,
saves a lot of inner
yeah,
turmoil,
yeah.
and produces a hell of a lot more clarity. It's nice to wake up in the morning and not feel like a bag of crap.
No doubt.
And I tried maybe a year ago. I said, just pour me a little sipple of
Right.
dark matter, and I'll just see.
Yes.
And
That's it.
it actually really depressed me because I could taste the flavor in it.
Ah,
And I was drinking
yeah.
so much that it wasn't about the taste of the beer. It was just to go to sleep, just to shut down the
Totally.
brain. And I was like, oh my
Totally, man.
gosh, I love the people at Hoyne. I mean, I don't know if they've changed staff since then, but I don't love this beer anymore. I can't drink this. Now I understand when people say, oh, it's a heavy, dark, flavorful beer. I was like, no, it's like water, because it was like flipping water. So
Yeah,
no, I
man.
feel great for it.
Yeah, I was really I just drink cheap beers, like PDRs, whatever, Old Milwaukee, Rainier's in the States. But the thing is, it's shitty, so you want to drink it faster because then it just gets warm and shitty
Yeah.
if it's, you know, so you just end up drinking twice as fast. But back in March, I thought it'd be a good idea to play with cutting some stuff out, and alcohol was one of those things. And you played a big role in that too, seeing you kind of getting off. It's like, you and several people in my life, just seeing other people benefit from sobriety. I did that for 4 months, and then I kind of had some drinks here and there in the summer and stuff. But it's really cool to kind of just feel the benefits of just you.
Yeah.
What do I need? I need water and I need some food. You know, Even food. I did a 7-day fast just to try it. I've never done something like that. But I did a 7-day water fast, and
So you only drank
this is
water?
interesting. Just water, yeah, and some salt.
Jeez, man.
But I was interesting though, because it was just me. It was just me at that point, and it was really interesting to kind of, just to see what the hype's about. Because I've heard a lot of good things about fasting. a lot of helpful things come from it.
Right.
I'd like to try that again.
How did your body
Go
react to
longer.
that? It must have felt so torn.
It was I was off for a few weeks from work, so I wasn't working anything. So I was reading a lot and playing guitar and stuff. I mean, I wasn't going hard on anything. I was just kind of, you know, really experiencing it. And I have a little bit of extra padding on me. I mean, I'm a bigger guy, so like I knew I wasn't gonna starve to death or anything. And so, yeah, I'd recommend doing things differently than we normally do them. Anything, including eating. Like back in the day, hundreds, thousands of years ago, we didn't just have food 3 times a day. Like that's not a
Might take you 3 days to find the food to eat.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then once you do, you love it, you appreciate it, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And I've always had a weird relationship with food, I think. I grew up as quite a chubby kid, and older brothers and people, making fun of you. You kind of get a little self-conscious about that kind of thing. And I've been on, diets in the past to try and shape myself in a way that I would think was acceptable. Again with Facebook and Instagram and all these beautiful, perfect specimens. You see these things, and I knew, like, that you're not supposed to be like that necessarily, but you want to be. You can't help but kind of want to be. But it's just, the self-realization. Nice to be able to talk about these things with you, because I talk about them with friends sometimes, but never with you. So it's good to talk with you about that.
Yeah, and you're okay that this is shared, obviously.
Yeah.
We can remove anything you don't. Right? It's recording.
Is this? Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to hide, man. The truth is the truth, right? Like, anybody that has something to hide, you can tell right away. If somebody's not going to be genuine with you, then fucking get out of my way. I have other people to talk to, right? Like, and you've always been a very genuine person. So, I mean, it kind of takes two to tango. If I was talking to somebody else, I probably wouldn't be saying anything. That's why you're gonna go far, my friend, because you
that's very
you
kind.
get that out of people, I think. So
well, you've got to meet. That's very kind. Look, I'll match you with your trying things out. I'm essentially vegetarian the last month and a half because my partner is. Yeah. And I just said, look, there's been no rules of you can't do or anything like that. I have decided as an individual, I will not bring meat in a house that has never had it in 7 years with her and her son. And I got to tell you, man, all these plant-based pastas, excuse me, that's the hiccups and burps from from all the tea that I've drank whilst we've been talking.
Cheers.
That's all I want now. I feel even more flipping healthy. I know I look like a ghost due to me having too much exposure, but since I quit drinking, I've lost 60 pounds. I've gone down from 210 and I'm sat now, I think, at 160 or something. I'm not exhausted walking up the stairs. I'm not waking up with migraines from drinking. And my body is just, not to be crass, but I mean, I got a bug in my stomach from a trip to India many years ago. I have never been so balanced, man. Everything is just working as it should work. There's no in the bathroom for 35 minutes because, you've drank and you've got chocolate and you've got a big old steak and it's like, it's just all trying. Who's going to get out of here first? Like, it's not a race, it's a slow It's a very it's anyway, not to get too crass, but so I feel phenomenal in that regard, and it's very kind with you to say what you were saying, but it's important. The day that the flick switched for me about 6 years ago, maybe about 5 years into my professional, not just college radio, making demos and community but actual like professional radio career, because the Zone in Victoria was the first job I ever got, and after all years of college and whatever, and making demos and doing placements, trying to get jobs, but halfway through was when the penny dropped, and I was like, right, I feel like I know who I am now, 25 years old, and I didn't just want to ask, tell me about the song. You can ask that. Look, there's no wrong answers. There's no wrong questions. There's no wrong anything. It's individual led and decided. Because I've had people that I've butted head with throughout my career saying, oh, you seem to have your way and it should be the way. No. I do my way. You can do yours. We can coexist. But my way is knowing that this artist, let's say, it doesn't matter. I've spoken to some incredible people. Names don't matter. It's just each individual. If they are a massive band and they've gone through interviews all flipping morning, they're all going to be the same. Tell me about this song, because it's about the song. Tell me about the album title, because it's a new album coming out. Blah, 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 blah. I would never prepare the last 5 years like today, which is why the start, we took time to warm up because it's organic. We're reconnecting. You can't rush that because it builds to what we've had the last hour, which is flipping awesome communication and conversation. You have to try and meet the artist at an energy level, gain their respect. And on the phone or in Zoom, as I've been doing it lately, Zoom obviously speeds it up. You get to see the visual, but when they've been lying down somewhere or really into it, I would spend up to 6 minutes just trying to build that connection and friendship in that moment. And then one question. And I would think of that question from a accumulation of what we went through. Like I've said, right, let's address them. Let me go and unpack through what your answers are. It might be that one question. I know it might be a former boss who I love very dearly that would go, you had 10 minutes and you only asked one question. And it took time to realize. And then what that meant was after a few years, then these artists are like, no, I don't want to just do 10 minutes with John. I'd like to do half an hour because they want to unpack, they want to get into it. And that is very, very kind. It's just trying to meet a human as a human in that moment. You can't force it. And that's when, for me, the most thrill comes out is when people feel that connection and go, I can trust this guy. I'm going to release to this guy. And I've had that with a handful of bands that I'll hold dear forever, because there's nothing better. This is what I love doing, is conversing with people. And there's no better feeling than when you make that connection and you get that bit that you're surprised that you learned that shade of someone's personality. Because if you've been diligent, I would go and read I'd go and search out the last 20 interviews insert name band did leading up to me, whether that's NME, Rolling Stone, Kerrang, or radio stations across Canada or the US. I would go through and I would get a feel for, if I've never spoken to or met this artist before, how are they in this setting? Is it easy for them? Is it difficult? Do they have certain elements of themselves that they don't wish to share? So don't go near it. Just get a feel, do that homework before you get to it. And there's going to be interviews in my past where you just get thrown it that day. And that's a whole new challenge. And that's great. And I've had to train through, oh my gosh, I didn't have 3 weeks to prepare for insert band here. And so that's what I've been trying to do now with the pandemic, is say, I don't want to talk too much in email. I love that you've noticed that I'm playing you on my little in the middle of nowhere radio station. And we've organically connected through, you've liked the tweet from the playlist bot, or you've liked the share when we've posted about it on Instagram. Hey, do you want to talk? Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Oh, decide in the moment. And many artists enjoy that because it's always regimented, or they feel from perception, like we spoke about earlier, that they need to put on a different outfit and a different energy and be like, yeah, we went to this studio and we did this. And if that comes up, it comes up. It doesn't have to come up though.
Canned responses. That's it,
because then you might get the same as what they just gave the last 3 people.
Then what's the point? Yeah.
It's not fair on them. It's their art after all that we're trying to elevate.
Yeah, man. And that's the truth, it's the truth is the truth. And if you're not being truthful, then people can tell right away and they shut down. Like, because why wouldn't you? Like, who wants to? There's so much bullshit out there already. I don't need it in my conversations. Like, one of my favorite interviewers, um, Nardwar. You know Nardwar,
Yeah. Legendary.
the human serviette. Yeah, he kind of he really knows how to break that barrier because he does his research, and that's kind of an opposite kind of
Yeah.
thing than what we're talking about. And it's been more of a different time that he, kind of rose to prominence. But just being able to still get through to people, in a different way, in a truthful and just open and honest way, it's so important. As an interviewer, I'm sure you'd agree, and or just as a person, just as anybody, I would hope would agree.
Yeah, Nardwar is a unique specimen. There is nothing else that will ever come close to being the chromosome layers that are him. And I don't care. Yes, he was born into radio in the day of the radio voice and coming up in 5. But I don't care where you drop Nardwar in the timeline of humans on planet Earth. He would be as successful as he is because he is so authentic.
No.
And that's him. It is non-stop. I've got 1,000 things. Keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yes, radio wants everyone to be short and have 30-second answers. And yes, many people who started watching this conversation won't still be here an hour and a half later. And that's fine. But what makes Nardwar so brilliant is it's absolutely him. Absolutely him. But that diligence. No one, period, that I've seen so far, and there might be people out there, and this is perception again, that fascinating word of perception. No one is showing me that they research as much as he does, because the bands themselves have to think twice about their entity of existence. How did you get that? Where did you find it? Who did you what? And you can tell, because that's the other thing, is we all as humans have a great bullshit meter. And you can tell, no, that's forced, or they knew and now they're trying to act it. No. You name all the stars he's got interviewed, every time they're like, what the fuck?
Totally.
They have no idea. You could put him in 1960, 70, 80, 90, 2020, 2050. He would still be a clinic in interviewing.
The timeless serviette. One of my favorite interviews is with him and Henry Rollins, who's like a hard lead singer, frontman, works out all the time. But he's just like, you got to wrap this up soon because you're not asking me. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just run through 10 questions real quick, and you can choose the ones you'd like to answer. And then he just hits them one after another, and you can just see his face start to soften and change. Like, how the fuck do you know that all this shit, man?
Yeah.
And it's just priceless, man. Like to see somebody go into a situation. I think that's why we like prank videos or anything like that. If you see somebody going into a situation they think's familiar, and then it gets flipped onto its back, it becomes a different situation. Wow, we love that. We love that because I think we're all so bored of just like the same old, like you said, like the same old, been there, done that kind of stuff. Like, and that's how I kind of like to approach music too. Is like, have I heard a song like this? Like, is this like anything else? Like, I hear some music and I'm like, man, like I really honestly, I just feel like I've already heard this song. Like, all the specifics and the details are different, but it just kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's like a classic recipe for like an apple pie. Apple pie is great, but what about like pear, pecan, caramel, something? I don't know. Like to put your own spin on it and to give it your own experience, to be truthful with yourself first of all, and then it always comes across if you're really genuine with somebody. Like if you go into a store and you go to order coffee and like, hello, like, how are you? Hello, how's it going? Instead of just, hi, how's it going? Yeah, you. move on next. What do you want?
Yeah.
I really try and make a point of doing that, especially now when all you can see is people's eyes, like smiling with my eyes. I've been practicing that a lot. I used to do it when I was a kid a whole bunch, but somewhere along the line, we lose this, you know, just plain mode of being that that is genuine and from the soul and the spirit, and I think it kind of gets a little gets squeezed out of you a little bit at some points if you let it. Just to remind each other with those with the eye contact and with the being genuine and smiling with your eyes if that's all you got on a person, just to remind each other that's what it's all about. So like interviewing somebody like we're talking about, and you're reminding them that not everybody is just the same as the last guy. It's like just like you're different than everybody else, so am I, and I'm
Yeah.
going to let you know by being truthful. Because if I'm bullshitting you, it's like you're playing a character. It's just bullshit. The bullshit meter, like you said. Yeah, it's people are way smarter than other people think. I mean, some of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well,
Genuine.
what a wonderful catch up. I think we've been going for a few hours, and if that's the case, then
Shit.
I got to help the little one. I got to give a good night hug
Yeah.
and love you before Harley
Totally,
goes to
man.
bed. But
Yeah.
I love you too, man. I'm really
I love you
excited.
too, John.
So can I
Yeah.
play? Do I have to wait until March to play this? On What Was That, or can I just sneak it in?
John, you can play it anytime you want.
Okay,
For What Was That, listeners? Absolutely.
we'll get a head start on SoCan royalties for you.
Let's do it, baby.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
look, man,
definitely.
it's been such a pleasure to catch up and
Yeah.
keep us in the know with, I say us, the community, because I know they're going to love this song when we play it. Just let us know what's coming and don't rush it. You just keep doing you. And this connection that you've got with yourself as a multi-instrumentalist, with Lucas up in Cobble Hill, please
Shout out.
consider
Silverside.
diving into that more.
Yeah.
It's very special.
Thank you, man. And I plan on it. I got so much more to share. And just I'm in a space where I realize how to do it. So it's really cool to have people like you in my life that I can have as an ally. And, yeah. So nice talking with you, John.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Love you, dude. Love you.
Well, lots of love to you. I could keep going, but I've heard them come up the stairs and listen at the door, and I got to go and give some hugs and then eat
Totally,
dinner.
man.
Have you had dinner yet?
Yeah, I had a little nibble, but I'll probably get something. Go for a little walk. I don't even know what's going on. I thought it was supposed to snow.
I don't know. I'm in the cupboard. I keep looking around sketchily this whole chat to check that the audio is recording, the visuals recording. You're here. Make eye contact with the Logitech. Wonderful. Now we've covered all the bases. I know I put down a bunch of salt earlier because it's meant to be -6 or -8 tonight, which for Victoria is very, very cold.
It's cold. It's cold.
Dear.
Yeah, dude. I love it. Yeah. A couple of days of cold.
Yeah, it's all that ever is here. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, have a fabulous rest of your night, and I will let you know. I've been going hard on interviews this week, so this might not get shared for maybe a week or so. Might end up just getting thrown online in the next few days. But I really appreciate all the time that you've given, and just keep being you, man. I love you.
Thanks, man. You too. Yeah, love you back.
All right. Well,
all the best.
Thank you, Zoom, for giving us the well above the 40 minutes that you said that you were threatening for last hour, the thing flashing that people can't see from my screen
What
share.
time is it?
I don't know. I don't know what
7:55.
What?
7:55. 2 hours, pretty much. Well, since I signed on with you. It's about 8 o'clock.
It does not feel like it's 7. It does not feel like it's been that long.
No, it doesn't. It truly doesn't.
And before we continue, I don't know. Where are you? You've got glasses, right? Before we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and those matches. Yeah. I got to get you some matches. Or Leadfoot monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I talk. Not bad.
We are one in the same. Max,
This is
Max Gordon,
Maxwell Michael Gordon.
Maxwell Michael Gordon. I'm Jonathan Anthony Edward. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm going to click end now. Otherwise, we'll be talking all night.
Cool, dude. All right. Love.
All right, man. Text you in a bit.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Bye.